Hello, hello. What's up going on? Well, what's going on? My name is Steven, and this is my friend Toby. How you doing,
Good,
Toby?
good morning. I'm doing great. How's everybody
Fantastic.
out doing out there?
Halloween. Well, we're taping this on the night after Halloween.
We
Um,
sure are.
and yeah, and we're doing. Let's see. Last week we did Halloween, so that came
Yeah.
out yesterday. I'm wondering if it was a hit or not. I hope you guys got to tell us if it's a hit or not. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Gonna See My Friends. We're here, a podcast doing movies that we grew up with that are close to us, and this week we got another good one. I mean, I think Toby kind of hit it out of the park on in October. He suggested most of the movies that we did, which were
How about
strike one,
that?
yeah, little. And and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This week we have another good one. I think this is kind of the underrated movie of maybe the 80s. I don't know if Toby agrees or not, but of course we're talking about the movie Running Scared in 1986. Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, who were kind of not known for the buddy cop movie.
Mm-mm.
Um, and this kind of, I think, shot their careers into overdrive here because after this, I think Billy Crystal goes on to do. I think he did Throw Mama from the Train, and then he does When Harry Met Sally, something like
Yep. Yep.
that.
The floodgates
Toby,
open for Billy Crystal at this point.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
this is his third movie that he had done.
yeah.
Um,
Toby, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? Like, what do you
well,
think about
I
this movie?
well I will say this. This was it in going back to 1986, the teenage years, remembering when this movie came out, and maybe more importantly when Sweet Freedom by Michael McDonald hit the airwaves, which is the original track to this, and still one of my favorite Michael McDonald songs. It seemed like it took the world by storm, and I was kind of surprised. I mean, the posters were everywhere. We had just come off of 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop, so the buddy cop thing was really starting to blossom,
Yeah,
and then Running Scared hits, and that's when, speaking of floodgates, at that point the floodgates really opened up, and we have dozens and dozens, maybe an oversaturation of buddy cop movies at that point. But this was the kind of the third one in this in the 80s as far as what we know as the buddy cop genre, and I believe you're right, it's overlooked. It's usually not in the list of movies that people rattle off as far as the buddy cop genre goes. I remember seeing this movie probably in the early 90s when it was on VHS or HBO, and I remember really enjoying it, probably mostly because of the chemistry between
yeah,
Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. Not the idea of putting two people from two different circles of art forms. You know, Billy Crystal being from comedy side, Gregory Hines being more stage, dancing, singing. He's the you know I would be surprised if he is doesn't have several legs of the EGOT at some point. Hugely talented, both of them hugely talented, but Gregory Hines probably known more for stage dancing, tap. But at the time, really enjoyed it when I first saw it in the 90s. Remember it being very funny.
yeah.
Was had seen Beverly Hills Cop 100 times by then, because we rented it almost immediately, and I was kind of hoping it would live up to the Beverly Hills Cop level. It doesn't, but it's still highly entertaining, especially for an 18, 19-year-old Toby. And we can get into how it holds up today if you'd like. But is there anything that you wanted to touch on before we continue on with our little tale here?
Yeah, I mean, I was the same way as you were. I think I came to it late. I don't remember it in the movie theaters. So I remember it more VHS. But for me, it was one of those movies that when I watched it, I was like, how did I miss this? Like,
Yeah.
how did I miss this in the theaters? Because I was pretty vigilant about what was coming out at this, especially at this time, what was coming out, who was in what, and I had all the movie magazines and was just up to date with all the movies and all that. And so there's was a few that slip by you, And so when I
Hmm.
saw this movie, I was like, "Gosh, what is this?" So yeah, this became a staple on cable. Like I think it was either USA or TNT would. I remember in the late '90s would play this a lot, especially late night. And yeah, it was the precursor, I think, to what Lethal Weapon was to become,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it it just had this different dynamic
Hmm.
because I think Peter Hyams, who directed and shot this film, like he wanted to make a different type of cop movie,
Okay.
and I think it works because he takes the difference that I see is that a lot of these buddy cop movies, they start out not liking each other and not
Yeah.
like getting gelling, and I'm too old for this shit, that kind of
Right.
thing. These two guys like love each other. Like they
Yes.
love their best friends.
Yes.
And it starts out that way. And like you were talking about their chemistry, which
Hmm.
I mean, it just seems so natural and easy that you buy right into it, right away, because it's like I said, it's just so the banter is just so believable and natural, and yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those movies where again you watch it and you go, "Geez, man!" And whenever this is on cable, I don't see it on TV as much anymore. I think
Right.
the last time I saw it was TNT, probably maybe a couple years ago, but yeah, it's one of those movies where if I do see it on TV, I'm looking for that Key West scene, It's
Yes.
like
Yes.
that's such a departure from the movie, but it's so weird. It's almost like 2 movies, but yeah.
It is very weird. It's a weird, but I think that you're right about their banter it is believable. Their friendship is believable. It's the only believable part of the whole movie actually is you just want to see these two all day, just ride around
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
And I think Joe Pantoliano's character Snake gets to ride around with them. He's
Yeah.
handcuffed to them and they're shaking him down and they're breaking the law themselves. This is the time when the cops had to break the law in order to maintain the law and order kind of thing. It's like, hey, you got to bend the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
It's definitely a snapshot in time of what it was like in the mid 80s, of what
Yeah.
was happening on that, not only television, what was happening in music, what was happening with people's tastes of comedies. It was really moving forward. We have a little bit where you have, speaking of buddy cops, you have Eddie Murphy, who's in both 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop, comes from Saturday Night Live.
Mhm.
Running Scared, Billy Crystal comes from Saturday Night Live, and you
Yeah.
get to hear he gives you a little bit of one of his most famous characters that he used to play on Saturday Night Live in this. He used to do the Fernando
Yeah.
character. You look marvelous, and he gives you a little bit of it in this movie. He gives they give the people what they want, right? Or what did they say in what did they say in Cabin in the Woods? Show us the goods.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You got to give the people what they want here. So we get that. Yeah, they're obviously brothers. Gregory Hines' character is adores Billy Crystal's ex-wife in this.
Yeah.
She adores him. They're brothers. I
Yeah.
mean, they are just straight up. They've been working. You believe that they've been working together for the last 16 years.
Yeah, and I think and what also plays into the kind of rewatchability of this is that it's a kind of lighter fare too. It's not
Oh,
there's
hugely.
there's this kind of like there's not much of a story per se
No,
because
no.
they're chasing this one guy the whole movie. It seems like,
Right,
and but it's a lighter. It's not too violent. It's not really that violent. There's a couple of shootouts,
right.
but the selling point of this movie, I think, is the camaraderie between Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, and the way that there was,
Absolutely.
a lot of stories about how Billy Crystal was being interviewed, and he was saying like they would get into this scene and it wasn't working, and Peter Hyams would just be like, "Billy, just go off and do something here, do something
Sweet.
funny," and Billy Crystal would be like, "Oh shit, the whole pressure's on me now." but there's a lot of good scenes in this where I just think about it and then you just start laughing because it's so absurd, but yet it
Right.
fits into the story because the story itself isn't really that heavy,
That's
and
right.
it's not Heat, it's not 48 Hours, that that kind of like edgy type of humor and violence. It's more of just the humor, and I think, and we'll get to it because there's a couple
Sure.
scenes I want to talk about.
Yeah, please. Yeah, there are some laugh out loud couple of scenes in here where I'm like,
Yeah.
that's still
So
funny to this day, kind of
yeah,
stuff where I'm like, that's awesome. We got to get to those. There's a
yeah,
couple I'm
okay,
just laughing just thinking about.
yeah, I know.
Yes. Sorry, I had to get it out of my system. I've been going nuts all morning.
Or when they're well, let's just get into it now. I suppose like
Sure.
there's that scene, and then there's the scene where they're cornered. They tail Snake, which is so. Let's get into the plot. Let's just do
Sure.
a quick overview of the plot. So the plot is Ray Hughes and Danny Costanzo. Ray Hughes is Gregory Hines, and Danny Costanzo is Billy Crystal, are two police officers working on Chicago's North Side, known for their wisecracking demeanors and unorthodox police methods. They go after this drug dealer, Julio Gonzalez. After arresting Snake, one of his associates, they try to convince him to wear a wire and to get Julio Gonzalez and put him away. I guess this is throughout the whole movie, they're after Julio Gonzalez.
Right.
So
But they're also
they
competing with the other cops.
Right. So there's this younger version of these cops because we'll get to it later. But
Yeah, yeah,
anyways,
yeah,
there's this younger
yes.
version. There's these two other cops that we don't know about yet. Right.
They're fighting two different forces here. Yeah.
Right. So then they get on this cargo ship that they think they're going to get Julio Gonzalez, and they get there and they get surrounded by these, the gang members of Julio with these Uzis, and he goes, yeah, you got somebody who got killed earlier in the movie that's just kind of
Right.
non-consequential. And he goes, so you killed him? All right, you're under arrest.
That's right.
They're just surrounded. It's things like that. It's these
Right.
little snippets of little things that just kind of make it so it's this tension-filled scene, but yet they're still quipping.
Right.
At the beginning of the movie, they're staking out, they're waiting for Snake and Julio, and the opening scene of the movie is them in the freezing cold, watching these guys play basketball in this
Hmm.
like kind of ghetto kind of place, rundown neighborhood,
Yeah.
and Billy Crystal gets punched out for trying to play, and he's like, "Well, why didn't you shoot it?" He's like, "They were clogging the middle. I had to shoot it." Just you have to see this movie anyway. So
Yeah, they
that's
don't
the
take
kind of
themselves too
things,
seriously.
right? And that's the kind of thing that throughout this movie is planted. These things of or these scenes that kind of in normal, like if this would happen now, probably I would be taken out of the movie. But I know Billy
Right.
Crystal and I know Gregory Hines and I know their chemistry, that it actually makes you root for these guys that are, Chicago cops and a hard part of town.
Right.
So I mean, what about you? What are some like some funny scenes that we can that
Well,
what are your
finishing up
favorite scenes?
with my favorite scene. Well, continuing on with that same opening scene is when they get Snake and they arrest him and they find out he's got $50,000 in cash.
Yeah.
So Billy Crystal is like, well, we can either arrest you. And Snake's like he's trying to play hardball with him, all this and that, and so Billy Crystal goes over to the lanai, opens the window, and looks down on the guys playing basketball, who he was just assaulted by, and he says, "Excuse me, gentlemen, can I have your attention? Our friend up here, Snake, well, he's hoping you guys would look out for him. He's got $50,000 in cash up here. There's ruffians about out here in the neighborhood. I hope you fine gentlemen will see to it that he is protected. It's $50,000, small bills, tax-free money. Just please, I mean, that whole speech that he gives out there is, and Joe Pantoliano, who's Snake, is just like, well, now you got to arrest me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that's the whole movie basically in
Yeah,
that scene.
you're
It's
cued in
just
at that point, and this is how this movie's going to go.
yeah,
It might
yeah,
not ever get serious. I mean, they do, like you mentioned, the shootouts, just
yeah,
firing with Uzis, firing into like into neighborhoods, and
yeah,
I mean, you know how an Uzi, and by the way, the '80s were really, there was a big, like, the heyday for Uzis. Uzis were, you had to have a Uzi in a movie in 1986, 87,
yeah.
things
It
like
was either
that.
the Uzi or the AK-47. It was either
Yes,
one
you
of
had
those
to have
2.
an automatic weapon
Yeah,
that was just firing and not aiming. You got to shoot from the hip.
yeah,
There was a whole ton of that. So those were
yeah.
kind of like the shootouts where absolutely nobody's aiming at anything. Is you're just like, damn, this is
There's
yeah.
another scene, what the one that made me laugh out loud is when what is it? After they go to the tattoo artist and
Oh yeah.
they kind of shake him down for some information and they're waiting in their cop car, which is now a taxi. It looks like a
Okay.
taxi cab,
Right.
and they're waiting for this Julio to come, and this garbage truck comes and gets the parks right in front of them, and they think, "What is this guy doing? Hit the lights!" And they try to hit the lights, and the garbage truck gets him, and it puts the car into the compactor in the back, and Billy Crystal's just like, "Is it something I said?" Just little quips that just that make me like, they're in the air in the thing, and he's like, "Oh, you don't." And Julio's like, "Hey, I got 150 grand here. Take it. Go to Key West, Florida, and just forget
Right.
about this." And he's like, "You don't even know. We got you right where we want you." It's just things that I don't know. It's just scene after scene of these. I think if it was a different approach, like say Michael Mann was making this, it
Right.
would be very gritty and edgy, probably tension filled. And the humor in this is what breaks that tension and makes it laughable and funny. And
Yeah.
it's such a I don't know, it's so funny, and so it makes it so like revisit you can revisit this movie again and again, or at least I can, and always have a laugh because even if I know where the jokes are coming from, it's like it still holds up to this day, and
Yeah.
it's pretty refreshing because, like I said, you have Lethal Weapon, you have 48 Hours, you have these buddy cop movies, and they're very good. All of them are very good. I would put this up with them, but like you said too, it's not. I think it's the humor that kind of takes it away from being up in the upper echelons with
Right.
those movies. But this is still such a great movie because of, like I said, Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, that they just make it so good. And Gregory Hines too wasn't really known as this you know comedic guy,
Right.
and he looks pretty comfortable with Billy Crystal and trading jabs and yes.
Yeah. 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 He
I
had a
just
catchphrase for a minute there, and if they were going to make a second one, which they had every intention of doing, but they just couldn't come up with a script that the two
yeah.
of them liked, you would have seen more of Gregory Hines's "yes." I think that's still funny. The lineup where they have Snake go into the lineup with four cops and then
Oh
him.
yeah.
And then he walks in, and he's number five, and he's looking, and everybody else is a uniformed police officer, and the people that are supposed to be picking him out of a lineup are in the dark, and you just see the silhouette of them, and you hear the one voice, "Okay, do you see him? Yes, that's him, officer, the one on the left of number five." And you hear Billy Crystal doing his old man. He's all, "That's him that bested," and he knows. He's like, "Guys, come on."
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It's
that's a entertaining.
yeah.
Like, it's just
I
funny
mean,
because you had that with Beverly Hills Cop, where
right.
we're going to do police stuff, but we're gonna bully you at the same time in a kind of a funny way, just to entertain ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like Axel Foley did a lot of stuff to entertain himself
Yeah.
in Beverly Hills Cop. You get that with these two, so that comes along. I think you get kind of mixture of both 48 Hours and Beverly Hills
Beverly Hills
Cop
Cop. Yeah.
at moments in this movie. You just really need to watch it for the two of them. The dialogue between the two of
Yeah.
them is just fantastic.
That's such a good comparison. I never thought of that, but that hits because you have, you know, for years after 48, after Beverly Hills Cop, I always wondered why um uh what's his name, Eddie Murphy didn't go back. Of course, there were sequels, but in the '90s, why he didn't go back? Not necessarily a sequel. Well, he tried with Metro. He tried to do that
Oh yeah,
drama cop thing. But I always thought that I thought he could go further with that and make more movies in that aspect. But yeah, like you said, there was supposed to be a sequel to this. I mean, cuz dude, everything else got sequels. Even 48
yeah,
Hours got a sequel, you know?
right,
And you look at this movie and you go, "Man, the way this movie hits, the way it kind of nestles into its own little style, within the cop buddy drama or genre, it was there for the taking." And I feel like, like you said, they were offered some scripts and they just said, "Nah, this is not good enough."
yeah.
What do you think would be a good sequel to this movie? Like, can you do you have any kind of idea what you would want to see?
Well, I want to see them run a bar down in Key
Yeah.
West. Are you kidding me? That sounds like exactly what I mean. I'm disappointed when they go back. They go down there for
Yeah.
their forced vacation. They're being told to go on vacation because they got themselves into trouble. And Captain Logan played by Dan Hedaya,
Hedaya. Yeah.
Who was played, of course, Carla's husband on Cheers, and
Yeah.
he's been in everything. He's always been kind of an old man
He was in
kind
The
of
Usual
character.
Suspects.
Usual Suspects. He's in Joe versus the Volcano. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
I know he can do the job. I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
You are detectives. Go and detect. You know.
He plays that role really well. You
Yeah.
believe that he's actually the captain who's had it up to here with these guys.
Yeah.
He tells them to go on vacation, but he could very well have said, give me your
Yeah.
piece and shield and get out of
Yeah.
here," that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, I wanted to see, I did. So if they were to redo this, I just want to see Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. I can't see it now, of course, but I
Right.
would have liked to
Right.
have seen them in something else.
Yeah.
And I was kind of got some vibes of maybe Cocktail in here, where you leave the big city and then you go and then you start your own cocktail. I don't
Yeah.
know if that was inspired, if this inspired Cocktail, because Cocktail was released
Yeah.
3-4 years after this,
Yeah.
where you do get to see the buddies on the beach running a bar. With it,
Right.
so
Dude, that's
what
yeah,
about you?
exactly.
What would you have liked to have seen?
I think you kind of brought up a good point. I was thinking more of this story, but I would have loved to have seen him do something else completely different, maybe,
Okay.
because they have that chemistry. I think that
Yeah.
they have the thing where there's like and I hate to say this because this kind of like about 10 years later, but they have the kind of chemistry of like a David Spade and
Oh, Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. How
Nice.
they
Yeah.
kind of did different things, the same movie, but just in different kind of things. I
Yeah.
would like
Yeah.
to have seen more of, maybe they do a detective thing where it's a straight drama and they have to solve a murder or something that's more high stakes. I would love to have seen that, but yeah, I mean, anything with these two. I mean, and while we're talking about it, I mean, we the rest of the cast is Stephen Bauer as
Yeah.
Frank, and they have Uncle Rico as
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
Jonathan Grise is in this movie, and they
They're the
play
other.
it.
They're the
Yeah,
younger cops who they're
right.
both trying to catch the Jimmy Smits,
Yeah,
who's Julio
Julio
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Yeah, and yeah, and so you have this kind of all star team in this movie. Stephen Bauer, of course, was in Scarface. He
Hmm.
was in I don't know. He did a Thief of Heart or a Thief of Hearts or something like that. I can't remember the movie that he kind of headlined in the '80s, but and then he went on to do like Traffic and all that kind of stuff. But
And
you
Breaking
know,
Bad.
oh, Breaking was he in Breaking Bad? Yeah,
Yeah.
just amazing. And Jimmy Smits, is this pre LA Law? I think this is right before LA Law, maybe right at the beginning of
Well,
LA
LA
Law.
Law is happening at this time. I have
Oh, okay.
actually got some when we get down to the end of this. So
Yeah.
there's some other things that are going on at the same time that in 1986. why were the buddy cop movies becoming more and more popular? And
Yeah.
we'll talk about what was on TV at the same time. And
Oh yeah.
it's
Cagney late. Yeah.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
lots of fun stuff like that. Yeah, LA Law's on the air at this time, and I think it's one of the top 20 shows on TV.
Yeah. And so another thing about this movie is that the director Peter Hyams, um, he just come off of 2010, the year we
Right.
made contact. Did you like
Yep.
that movie?
I
Did you
did.
enjoy that
Yeah.
movie? Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that movie. We should probably do that on the pod sometime. But yeah, it
And
was
2001.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he worked with Arthur C. Clarke as well to kind of make that sequel. And it was the success of that movie that led him to this. But he had always what kind of made me aware of him was he also shoots his own films. So he directs and he's the director of photography. He does the lighting and all that kind of thing with his films. And he has a distinct style. It's always really dark, and it's always not really dark, but it's natural lighting, and he'll light it naturally with like whatever light's available, a street light or whatever. What kind of I knew that he did this film, and he did this film with Sean Connery, called I think in '81 called Outland, which was the space movie that with Sean Connery. It was kind of a remake of like High Noon, they say. And
Oh.
he has this style. Once you see it, then you can see it in all his films. But the little story here,
Mhm.
he made this movie called The Relic. Have you ever seen that movie? It came out in like '97.
Oh, yeah. I saw The Relic.
Okay,
Yeah, of
okay.
course.
So, so I was living with this brother and sister for roommates. We had a 3 bedroom house, and we were living in Santa Rosa. And me and the brother, his name is Omar, or I'm not going to say his name, but anyways,
Oops.
we took some mushrooms. We took a lot of mushrooms, and
No.
we were just gonna sit around and watch a movie. And his sister comes in and was like, "Hey, let's go see a movie." And we're like, "Sure." And as soon as we went to this coffee shop to get like tea and stuff right before the movie, and it just hit me. And we get into the show and watching this movie on mushrooms. Holy crap! This was I had to watch it kind of again and again just to see like is it as scary as I thought it was? Because this thing
Yeah.
really scared the crap out of me when I saw it in the movie
Nice.
theater. And again, I say this just to bring in the fact that I still remember the way the film looked. It's
Hmm.
really dark. There's a lot of shadows. There's a lot of darkness. And the thing I think the kind of complaint about that movie was it was too dark.
Right.
You couldn't really see the monster, and which was true. I mean, I think in the theaters we couldn't see the monster at all. But he has this very distinct style, and that's how he lights his films. But and this one, a lot of wide angle lenses, and
Right.
filling the frame with just kind of just even with the like a conversation, he'll still use the wide angle lens and use the close ups, so you can just see kind of like, I don't know how to explain it other than that, but I think he's a great director, and I don't see anything that he's done lately. He did a documentary in 16. Let's see, OJ Made in America, and
Oh, God. Yeah.
yeah, but he's trying to do remake his first movie, which was Capricorn One, or not his first movie, but one of his first movies. But he's a great director. Have you seen any other of his films?
Well, Relic comes to
Oh yeah,
mind.
Relic. Yeah,
Other than that,
2010. Yeah,
oh, in 2010, yeah. I mean, he's not a name that you hear, not a
yeah,
household name as far as
yeah,
directors go, which is kind of surprised me. I thought maybe was doing more behind the scenes stuff other than directing.
yeah.
But you know,
He,
maybe this movie did make $38 million. Running Scared did.
yeah,
So he could have bought himself a bar for 150 grand down in Key West
yeah.
and just started selling beers.
Well, I think that I always wondered why he wasn't as big because he followed Running Scared with the Presidio. Did you ever see that movie? Mark
Yep.
Harmon and Sean Connery.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I haven't seen
Mark
it
Harmon.
since. Yeah, I haven't seen him since '88 when it came out. But then he executive produced the kids movie, The Monster Squad, which is one of my favorite movies because
Is it?
I went and saw it as a kid in the theaters, and
Sure.
I thought, this is great. This is awesome. And it's kind of like this Goonies type of thing, but
Hmm.
with monsters. And so that was, he's made a couple of my favorite movies. And also did Time Cop with Jean Claude Van
Oh
Damme.
yeah, dude. Time Cop.
So yeah, I always wondered why he didn't get even bigger because I think at least the quality of what Spielberg was doing, not maybe not to the degree to which Spielberg, makes his movies, but in terms of having your own style and making successful hits in movies, and I think he could have been bigger. I don't know if this is just maybe it was planned, like he just wanted to have this kind of midline kind of career, which is still great. And I'm sure that he has points in all these movies. So
Yeah.
I did see Sound of Thunder. Have you ever seen that movie, Sound of
I don't
Thunder?
think I have.
Now, this movie is infamous because they shot it over in Hungary, I think it was, and the production company that was producing this movie went bankrupt in right after they finished principal photography. So they had no money for or yeah, they had next to no money to edit this thing. So this thing has like very poor special effects. Like
Nice.
I think the special effects were just they were the um let's see, they were the what's the word? Like point of reference for things. So when the special effects did kind of get put in, they would know how to position the people and everything. But if you look at they didn't have any money for this. So the movie actually looks it has like really poor effect, like, cars that are driving and then they go boom, just and they don't even look like cars. I mean, it's just because they didn't have any money and they released it anyways because they had to.
Sure.
And it has Ed Burns. He plays, and it's about this in the future. It's just about this time travel company that sells these safaris, and they take a group of people and they take them to prehistoric times, and they hunt this specific dinosaur, and they hunt this one dinosaur. That's it. They just hunt this one dinosaur, and they figured out that this dinosaur was going to die anyway in the next minute or two after they go and kill it. And they realize, okay, he doesn't kill anything at, whatever. So they take this one group and they go and they hunt this dinosaur, and there's this path that they have to walk on, and one of the people steps off the path. They tell him, do not step off the path, just go to this point. When I tell you to shoot, shoot, and then we're done. And then we have to go back. Well, one of the people steps off the thing and steps on a butterfly or some sort of moth or something.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't tell anybody. He gets back on the path and they get back to the present time. Well, everything is different now. When they get
Sure.
back into the present time, everything's different. So that's the
Of
kind of,
course.
yeah, that's the
What's it
plot of
called?
that movie. A Sound of Thunder.
A Sound of
Yeah. If you can find anything in on YouTube about it, just watch a scene and you'll see the special effects are just they're crazy.
like people aren't looking at the right thing at the time, and like they're putting the
Le-
special effects in. You said they were special effects were kind of a point of reference. Like, well, look
Yeah,
at the tennis ball because it's not it's a tennis ball now, but what we're going to do is we're going to put this thing in here, but the people aren't looking in the right place because
right,
they put the special effects in wrong. The
right.
production, the
Well,
yeah, okay,
it's
post
not
production.
even. Let's see. I'm looking it up right here. I mean, it's like video game. Well, I gotta turn this off.
Nice. So they're like every
Can you hear that?
no, I don't hear
Okay,
anything.
cool. Okay. The trailer looks decent, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, you can see It's just bad. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. I'm watching the trailer right now,
The
and it's like,
plot sounds great. I
yeah,
mean, it's the butterfly effect. I
yeah,
mean, straight to where they come up with that term. He stepped on a
yeah,
butterfly or a moth,
yeah,
and then you go 50 million years back into the future, and everything's different. You
yeah,
screwed it up. So I
yeah,
mean, I love that kind of stuff. That's incredible.
yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, toward the end of the trailer here, you see the cheesiness of the effects. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, I don't know why he didn't, you know, achieve more success, but maybe that was just a plan thing. Maybe he didn't want a lot of success. I don't know,
Hey,
but
he could have fallen on hard times. He could have gone to prison. We don't know.
I like John McTiernan.
I
That's what
mean,
happened to him.
oh boy. All right, so let's do let's hear what the critics had to say about this
Okay,
film. Are you ready to hear what the
sounds
critics
good.
had to
Yeah,
say about our
yeah.
Gene Siskel? There are mixed reviews. First of all, 6.5 on IMDb today. These are today's scores. 6.5 on IMDb, 63% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's pretty, and 58% on the audience has it at 58%. I would imagine that this 58% is probably a much lower number than how the audience received it in 1986. And I say that because like I said, it seemed to be on everybody's mind. I remember the posters were everywhere.
Yeah.
People seemed to love it. And Roger Ebert gave it a thumb on, at the movies with Siskel and Ebert. They were mixed on this. Roger Ebert, first of all, let's say Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times. This is his. He said 3 out of 4 stars. Genre is so overpopulated that it hardly seems like we need one more example, and yet Running Scared transcends its dreary roots and turns out to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Whereas his counterpart, Gene Siskel, said Running Scared tries to be a light comedy in a violent comic book world. That's a difficult juggling act, and director Peter Hyams doesn't pull it off. Phil Villarreal from the Arizona Daily Star says this has all the logic and transitional ease of a Pokemon style card game played by 5-year-olds who don't understand the rules, so they make it up as they go. That's probably a more recent. Pokemon didn't exist in
Yeah.
1986, so let's see. Vincent Canby said another thoroughly depressing demonstration to the extent to which television now dictates the style and the manners of so many of the movies we see in theaters.
Who
So
said
I was
that?
like, Vincent Canby of the New York Times. He did not
Vincent
like it.
Canby.
Yeah. Yes. Well, now, why did they say that? I was like, well, what's going on TV at the time? Well, here's
Yeah.
what the movies reflect on what are popular TV shows oftentimes, especially in the 80s. Okay, so the top action police shows that are going on in 85, 86. Here are your top three. Moonlighting is number
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Miami Vice is number two, and Hunter is number three. You get all three of those things in Running Scared.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what people are watching. That's what the audience wants. You got to give people what they want. And then on the legal side, we had kind of the opposite, a little mix of we had people that I mean, these are all in the top 50 shows of 85, 86. Night Court is number one as far as like courtroom type stuff. So you can arrest the guys, but then you still got to prosecute them later, right? So we get Night Court, which is a straight comedy. You got Matlock, which is he's a defense attorney, and so say you're Snake and you get busted by these two wacky cops,
Cops.
right?
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to have your day in court. And when you
Yeah.
do, you hope Matlock's defending you because these cases are all getting thrown out in the Running
Right.
Scared world. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
And then number three is LA Law. So
Oh yeah.
these are people are paying attention to the courtroom stuff. They're paying attention. The cop stuff, they want it to be silly and wacky and with guns and flashiness with the Miami Vices of the time and cocaine smuggling cocaine was a big deal at
Yeah.
this time. We have, you know, Julio Gonzalez is smuggling cocaine into, you know,
Yeah.
but then at the same time, we also want to see how it works out in LA Law. And then after this, that kind of starts the whole courtroom stuff where you get Law and Order is still on
Yeah.
TV for crying
Yeah.
out loud in its 25th season or 30th season, whatever it is. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes of the different CSIs or the CSIs and all that kind of stuff. So the people are getting what they want in this movie. You get the action,
Yeah.
you get the cocaine smuggling, you get the comedy, you get the Michael McDonald song. I mean, what's not to love? That's exactly
You
what the
get the one, two,
1986
three
needed.
punch. Yes.
Yes.
Well, and then in the mid '90s, you get you take that what you see in the movies, like you just said, and then you have the law side of it, and then the cop side. You get it in Law and Order in the early '90s. You get it in that one that was not Law and Order, but I think it was the other one. I can't remember. Homicide, I think it was Homicide: Life
Okay.
on the Streets. But then in the
Yes.
mid '90s, you get the merge of those two. Like with Homicide and Law and Order, by the end of the episode, or maybe it was a two-parter, you get the wrap up, you get everything. Murder One came out, I want to say 95, 96, somewhere around there.
Mm.
And over the course, it kind of set the blueprint of what kind of shows are now, where it has one case of both sides, and it's a whole season long of one case. So you kind of see the ins and outs. And I never saw an episode of that one, but I think that's kind of where all that stuff in the '80s, it becomes Murder One, and it becomes this thing of a season long arc of maybe one case, or
Yeah.
a couple of cases. But yeah, I mean, and then so we were talking about earlier about Running Scared being Billy Crystal's kind of his first major lead in a
Yes.
film. And then in 86, or 80, yeah, 86, you get, or 87, you get Throw Mama from the Train, which was directed by Danny DeVito. And then you get When Harry Met Sally. And I think that's when I think Billy Crystal just kind of, that was it for him. It shoots him up, and then he gets City Slickers in '91. That becomes another career thing, and I think that maybe this is my take on this. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but maybe this is why he didn't do another Running Scared, was that he just didn't want to run around with a gun, and he wanted to be more of a kind of a mainstream not family friendly, I guess, to a certain extent, kind of comedy, which
Okay.
is what he became, because he got City Slickers, then he does Mr. Saturday Night, then he does City Slickers 2, then he gets
Hmm.
Forget Paris, and then Analyze This 99. So I mean,
When does Monsters Inc. come out?
I think that came out in 96. Let's see.
Because that was going. He's Mike Wazowski, and
Yeah.
he's the lead in Monsters Inc.
I only got Monsters University. Let's see, Monsters Inc. I want to say in the mid '90s. I want to say
Yeah,
94,
it feels
95,
like it
somewhere around
feels
there.
like mid '90s.
Yeah.
So he's doing a
So
lot of voiceover work too, and he's done a lot of voiceover work.
he's doing
That
the
really,
Oscars too. He's hosting the
that's right. He was
Oscars.
hosting the Oscars. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So
yep,
he
yep.
he did a lot of mainstream stuff. So maybe that kind of played into his decision as not to do the
I
second
mean,
one,
he
which
was
I think,
busy.
yeah. I mean, he was the flavor of the half
Yeah,
decade, or whatever you want to
yeah.
say.
He's a A-lister at this point.
He shoots him into A-list, I think,
Yes,
especially
absolutely.
when Harry Met Sally. But yeah, and so this movie, I think, just kind of solidifies his place. It kind of shoots him into the stratosphere. Um, let's see. I had a couple questions that I wanted to.
Shoot.
Let's see. What was? Oh yeah. What is your opinion on Michael McDonald's Sweet Freedom? We talked about this on the opening of this podcast.
Well,
What does that, when you hear that song, what does that make you feel? What does that take you back to the time, or how does it make you feel when you hear that
oh yeah,
song?
yeah. I want to be on a beach every
Yeah,
time. I mean, it starts out with the. I mean, it's not kind of Congo and steel. It's kind of like steel drummy. I mean, he didn't write the song, of course, but he he just brings uh so much. What's the word I'm looking for? He brings so much honesty to what
yeah,
is really a campy freaking song. Like if you had anybody else sing this, we would never still be talking about it again.
yeah.
That
What
happened
about
a lot,
this?
but go
Yeah,
ahead.
what about the soundtrack in general? Like,
Well, this,
I know I
yeah,
asked about McDonald, but now I want to hear, like, what about this? Because the soundtrack to me, like, when it opens up with that Running Scared, "We're
yeah,
no more running scared," like it, and then it has "I Need a
man-sized
Man
love. Yep,
Size Love."
yeah, yeah,
Like that for me, it kind of takes me back to where
yeah.
music was at that time.
Oh, yeah.
The radio was filled with music like that. What does it make you feel when you hear that the soundtrack?
Well, you feel like it's 1986. I mean, I'm whisked away. I mean, I remember exactly where every time it comes on, and I love every part of it. I love when he takes it to the bridge. I mean, yeah, it's yacht rock. It's through and
Yeah.
through
Oh
yacht
yeah.
rock for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, you feel like you're s- sitting on a beach earning 20%, man. It's, you know what I mean? I just,
Yeah.
his voice is always, he did a lot of soundtrack
Yeah.
work at the
Well,
time,
yeah.
and was still with the Doobie Brothers. I believe the Doobie Brothers were still together in 86. He was also doing, I mean, talk about being busy. That guy was everywhere. I mean, you
Yeah.
couldn't get enough of Michael McDonald in 1986.
I mean, Kenny Loggins worked with him. What was the other
Have you
guy that
seen
worked with
him
him?
perform
Steely Dan.
before?
Not live, but I've seen
Yeah,
live footage of him.
yeah. We saw him a few years back, and he was amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure he
We saw him in
was.
San
I mean,
Francisco a few years back. He's, it's all white now, and he's what,
yeah,
thinner?
yeah.
I don't want to say, but God, that voice.
Well, him, Paul Reiser, I think wrote his autobiography or kind of his biography, and
Okay.
then they did
The
last
comedian
year.
Paul Reiser.
Yeah, and
Nice.
because they were like next door neighbors or lived in the same neighborhood or something, and they did a tour, a book tour, and they just it was just them two on stage, and they would just talk about the book, and then they would take questions. But that and you can watch a lot of that on YouTube as well. And I think that I think that this soundtrack, especially the Man Sized Love, the place where it is in the movie too. It's this, they steal Julio Gonzalez's car and they're trying to find him, and they're riding around, and oh look, it's Julio, and then they roll down the window and it's them, and it's just,
It's
for
silly.
me, yeah, it's silly, and it's also, man, I was a radio guy. I didn't
Mhm.
listen to a lot of albums like I do now. I just listen to kind of albums and songs. If I listen to a song, I want to get the context of the album or when it came out, of how what they were writing, whoever the artist is. But back then, I was more of just a radio guy, so I would just listen to a song. I would buy an album just for that song, and not listen to really anything else. And I think that it, yeah, I just remember
That sucks.
Footloose.
You're like, dude, I spent $11 on this thing for one song.
Well, I eventually had those because I was buying vinyl. So I
Right.
would eventually have those albums and I would eventually listen to the whole thing. But at the time, that wasn't my, like, I didn't buy it for the album. But as time went on, yeah, I would definitely listen to the whole album. But because I don't know, I'm one of those people that, like, now at least, I have to listen to the whole album. If I like one song and I'm gonna hear it somewhere, and someone says, "Hey, you should listen to this band," I'll look at their popular song and listen to it, and then I'll listen to the whole album. And because it's almost like, like you're reading a chapter out of a book, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, this is a good chapter. Let's read the whole book and see what it's all about."
Yeah, that's
And
it.
so
And
that's
and for two guys that tried it, had enough songs to put out an album, and we were in the studio, and me, you,
oh
and
yeah, yeah,
JJ,
yeah,
you know how much work it takes to make an album. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
if you buy it and there's two, you're like, man, there's only two good songs. They like every one of the songs on it. Keep in mind, there's stuff that
yeah,
didn't make it onto this album.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's more
And
of, yeah.
yeah,
Oh well,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's you're right. It's a lot of work and
it's a lot of work.
a lot of time, a lot of work, yeah, a lot of effort, and man, but I think that now I'm just, you get older, you start to realize that, like, oh yeah, I want to listen to the whole thing. Like you were just saying, no, you spent $11 and you didn't, yeah, and now it's like, I'll just listen to the whole album. But there's me and Scott did a podcast about our top 5 albums that we play through without any skips, and yeah, so go listen to that one, everybody. Go
Okay.
listen to that one. Anyways, let's see what I had one more thing that I wanted to ask. Let's see. Gosh, well, I guess we kind of talked about it, but do you think Rain Scared got overshadowed by Beverly Hills Cop and Lethal Weapon, or
Oh,
in terms of buddy cop?
for sure. Yeah, there's so many
Yeah,
people that don't remember if they've even seen this movie, because I'll ask
yeah,
before the week, people will always ask me, so what are you guys doing next? I
yeah,
get that question quite a bit. And I said, we're doing Running Scared. And it was like, oh, yeah.
yeah,
Well, I don't know that I've ever actually seen it all the way.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
reaction that I got from most people this week.
yeah,
So. And yeah, I hadn't seen it in 30 years, a good 30 years. And it's nice that it was streaming on, it's on Amazon right now. If you want to just
Yeah.
pop, if you have Amazon Prime, just go ahead and pop it on. And it's an hour and 47. It's a little longer than it needs to be, but just watch it for what
Key West.
the key, yeah, you wanted more Key West, and the Key West stuff was really good. These guys are in good shape, by the way. At one point, they're both doing some fishing on the.
Yeah.
They're fishing for marlin out in the ocean there, and they're tanned and they got their shirts off. These guys are,
Got a little,
I
we
mean,
got a
good.
6 pack going. Billy
Dude, what's
Crystal.
Billy Crystal's like 28, 29 when they filmed this movie, I want to say, and it's supposed to be, and before I forget. So anyway, yeah, the Key West scenes are about 15, maybe 10 minutes total in the whole movie, but that's what
Yeah.
the movie
Yeah.
is kind of known for. It's known for the video that Michael McDonald and Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines made for Sweet Freedom, and it's all filmed in on the beach. It's almost like you, if you didn't know, you'd think this half the movie's on the beach. It's 10 minutes. It's
Yeah.
middle of 10 minutes, and they come back and they're all, man, look how fast everybody's moving around.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Everybody's
got
just
to
got to
slow
slow down.
down, man. Yeah, they got the kind of island. Yeah, it doesn't take long to go
Yeah.
out. You feel that if you've never been to the islands, Hawaii, the Caribbean. I highly recommend it, and it doesn't take long for you to get into that. Hey, slow down kind of mindset.
Yeah.
It does not take more than a handful of days, and you do really slow down. Can I just talk about one thing that happened in the
Sure.
80s
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
don't know if it's a television film thing or it was a real life, but this is one of the motifs that follow through all this stuff. They're supposed to be in their mid 30s, these two characters. They've been
Yeah.
cops for 16 years. They're considering retiring at 36 years old. Okay. So by the time this podcast airs, I will have turned 53 years old.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
idea that I could have retired almost 20 years ago
Well,
is
retired from
the most,
police. Not
well, I
yeah.
understand, but just
Okay.
what I'm saying is these guys are thinking about retiring early in their mid 30s. They would like 4 more years and they can retire at 20 years in the, and I
Uh-huh.
understand that the first responders and not only police but firefighters have this too, that by the time you get to 50 you can just call it a day because you've probably been doing this since high school, and you've
Yeah.
got the hours and you've got the pension and you've got the union behind you and you're good. You'll just keep collecting that paycheck. um but the idea that shows in the 80s, 30 something was a big show. They were supposed, these are middle-aged people that are kind of seen as old, kind of old. I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
too tired, I'm getting too old for this shit. I mean, Murtaugh is 40.
50. Oh
He's
yeah.
50 in the movie, and
Yeah.
he's,
It's
I'm too
50 in the
old for this
movie.
shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, we talked about it. I think they certainly looked a lot older. We talked about how Wilford Brimley in The Thing is like 47 years old. Look at what else was on TV. Archie Bunker, Carol O'Connor is like 46 years old when he starts All in the Family, and he's like an old grandpa sitting in his Barca lounger. I mean, I don't know if we're just younger now or that was what TV portrayed. What are your thoughts? Because I don't think my parents really slowed down to the point where in the 80s they were like,
Yeah.
yeah, hell,
Yeah.
like Nick Nolte in 48 Hours is like, yeah, yeah. I mean, what? These weren't. They're in their 40s. They're young. These are young people.
Yeah, I think times are different in the sense of I think the internet really kind of opened up a lot of stuff nowadays where I think we have more access to things and we do things that aren't as let's see, I don't know, maybe it's just the thing I see is this. I'm not very articulate and I'll try to answer it as best I can, but the thing that I see is that a lot of the things that we did back in let's say that our childhood, which was the 70s and the 80s, there was a lot more there was just a lot of just we're going to work, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, and we're doing this, and that's it. That's the life, that's the bubble. Because I think now when I look at my mother, a lot of things. she has access to a lot of things, and this goes to with my whole family, the aunts and uncles.
Things like
They
what?
have
Like health
access to a
wise?
lot more things. What was that?
Things
Just
like what?
everything. Like,
Okay. And that makes you younger?
we
That keeps
can.
you younger, you think?
I think, yeah, because we don't have to stress about so much stuff. I think, anyways, you don't have to stress about like, well, how am I going to get my food and how am I going to do this and that and the other thing. Like this is what I was trying to get at was,
Okay, sorry.
so there's a
Sorry to
lot of
interrupt.
thing. Well, no, that's fine. There's a lot of things that are available to my family, my older family, but they don't choose that way because I feel like when like if they were to Uber Eats something or if they were to kind of use their phone for something, like for them that's cheating because,
Okay.
oh, I'll just do it myself, and it was that kind of thing. I don't know if that makes any kind of sense, but I mean, I feel like that's the difference between when I talk to my family
Hmm.
and, oh, what are you doing? Well, I have a podcast or I do this and that. "Oh, what? Well, they have no idea, but this is something that we can now we have more choices and we can do more things and we don't have to settle for one thing or the other. We can kind of do anything that we kind of want,
Okay.
and there's access to that. Not to say that everything is easy, but it's just that there's more options and there's more things to kind of fulfill yourself with, and so I think that that's kind of maybe why. I don't know. I could be way off base, but I think that's and back in the 70s, it's like I was just talking to Scott about this, and it was like I when I was working at Macy's back in like 2003, right before I went to Brayton Purcell, or right before I
Yeah.
went to the law firm. Um, I worked with this guy that had worked um at Macy's for like 44 years or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
so
listened to this.
oh, he did. So,
Yeah. Listen.
he was kind of,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and he was
You
kind
don't
of
work at
like
a
this.
place for 45 years anyway. I mean, that's unheard of, right? It's like, this is
Yeah,
what I do. I go to Macy's
yeah.
and I come home.
And, he kind of, that's all he did. He just
Uh
went,
huh.
worked. He got his 2 weeks vacation every year and he bought a house and he raised his kids. And that was kind of the thing he did. And it
Living the
was just
dream.
this,
Yeah.
every,
Right. Yes.
and I think that over time, if you don't really, I don't know, that has to,
I see where, I think I see where you're going.
yeah,
I also, I think that that's a good point. I'm thinking that the joke was that the people in their 40, like Married with Children wasn't the 80s, it was early 90s, but Ed O'Neill is like 39 years old when that show starts, and I mean, he's this guy who
yeah,
goes to work, comes home, and is just like, I mean, he's got like teenage kids, these kids that are in high school, and he's
yeah,
acting like he's still reminiscent about the time that he scored 4 touchdowns. It's still in the paper, and he still picks up the old paper and reads it. And I don't know that any 39-year-olds that today that view
yeah,
themselves as being, you know, over the hill, so to speak. I mean, it's
right. Well, and another thing, let me interject here. I think another
yeah,
thing
no,
too
that's
is
all I was
that I
gonna
think,
say.
oh, okay, and maybe it's Hollywood is that they just got kind of like this, like we always talk about in the 70s was that that decade under the influence, they had these kind of auteurs that came in and made the kind of movies they wanted to make until Jaws and Star Wars, and then they were like, okay, we know how to make movies now, so we're gonna corporatize all this stuff. And I
Hmm.
think Hollywood just got younger looking. We need more attractive people to play. To We're gonna get 50-year-olds or 40-year-olds that look really good and have them play 30-year-olds or whatever it is. And I think that that's part of it too. Is that good looking people maybe sell the movie better than somebody that's overweight and maybe on diabetes.
Wilford,
Uh, so what about your Clay Thompson? Do you have any Clay Thompson Award nominees?
I do. He doesn't have any lines in the movie, but by God, Al Leong is my Clay Thompson Award winner. When Al Leong's on the screen, you got to pay attention. He is one of the henchmen in the scene where our heroes get double crossed. Al Leong, of course, was in Die Hard. He was in Bill and Ted's
Oh,
Excellent
that guy.
Adventure as Genghis Khan. When he's on
Yeah.
the screen, you know shit's going down. And by God, when he's on the screen for just a couple minutes in that scene, everybody opens fire. And I'm like, that's when I knew it was
Yeah.
getting serious. With the second that face comes on the screen, I was like, God, freaking love this guy. He's never said a word. Um, uh, yeah, absolutely. So Al Leong as uncredited henchman is my Clay Thompson Award winner. How about you?
Mine is the it's the dude that they get and he squeals. They shake him down at the tattoo parlor.
Okay,
I'm trying to find his name. I think
where
it's
they're gonna tattoo his face.
yeah, yeah, that guy because they
Uh-huh.
get him and he's the one that's driving the garbage truck when they when they pull him
Right.
up and
That's
try
right.
to crush him. Anyways, it's that guy. I forget his name and I
Okay.
can't find it right now. But that's my Clay Thompson Award winner. I think he when he the way he runs, "Hey, get him, he's getting away." And he's just yeah, just
Okay. That makes
hilarious
you
and
laugh.
funny. Yeah, makes me laugh. So,
There's one other line that Gregory Hines has in this movie that's a good choice. There's a lot of good choices. You could go with Captain Logan. You could go with Darlene Flugel, who plays Billy Crystal.
yeah.
She's lovable. She's lovely
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah.
She's very emotional because her aunt had died, and
No, that's Billy Crystal's aunt.
oh, Billy Crystal's aunt. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
right. She's
And
more
then she
emotional
just
than Billy Crystal is
yeah.
in that.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. There is a line that near the end of the movie when our heroes are chasing. There's the final car chase scene, and they
Yeah.
drive onto the train tracks, and they go
The T,
up onto the
yeah.
L
On the
train,
L, yeah.
and you're like, this is just ridiculous. And Billy Crystal says something, and about how they probably shouldn't be doing this or something like that.
Just don't hit that third rail.
Yeah, don't hit that third rail. And he says, we're making good time. And I just thought I mean, that's typical 1986. Guys
Yeah.
always wanted to make good time. Like it was like a before Waze and any kind of.
Uh-huh.
I mean, people
Yeah.
always talked about when you. I remember grandparents did this a lot. Oh, you got it. Hey, you made it okay. Now, which way'd you come? They always want to know
Yeah.
which streets you took. Did you take the highway or did you take
What are
those
you
surface
doing
roads?
here?
There was a lot of that. Oh, how long did it take you? There was a lot of, figuring out,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, oh, you made good time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of you made good time or, yes. And when you talk to the
S
older generations, if you tell them that you're on your way, I do this quite a bit. I go and I meet with people, and oftentimes they're retirees, and I'll
yeah.
tell them, yeah, I'm going to come down and I'll see it. Okay, now here's what you want to do. When you're coming south, and I'm all, oh my God, okay, you just let them get it out of their system. I'm just going to use my car has a map on the screen
Yeah.
that's gonna,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
just all pretend like I'm writing it all down. Now, when you get there, it's going to tell you want to go this way. Which don't do that. What you got to do, and this is the
You see
trick.
that
When you
sign that
got
says
yeah,
rib tip? No,
rim
fuck it. You don't
too.
want to go that way.
That's one of those things that they'll never stop doing. Maybe this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Our parents have access to more things. Maybe they're not going to
But
order
they don't use them.
DoorDash. They're
Yeah.
not going to use it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not going to use it. Yeah, they're not
And
going to use it.
it's yeah, and it's just more of like, let's do it the old fashioned way. And it's like,
Yeah,
well,
printing out
there's
MapQuest.
easier ways to do it.
That's right.
All right. Well, any final thoughts
Uh,
about this movie?
this was remade. I was wondering why you told me let's do Running Scared 1986, and I was like, why did you need to tell me 1986? I thought maybe you had copied and pasted, and I
Uh,
realized why. Because when you type in Running Scared, there's a one from 2017.
no,
There's a remake, 2018.
2006. Yeah.
Coo-
With Paul
Oh
the
yeah,
guy
Paul
that died in the
Walker.
car crash.
Yeah, yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Walker, yeah. That has
yeah.
nothing it's not a remake. It just has no
It's
it's just
not
a movie. No. And
my final.
it's just
Okay,
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
why is this movie called Running Scared?
That's a
It
good
doesn't.
question.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
It's six
I
seven,
think
dude.
it's just it's just yeah.
Follow me on LinkedIn, kids.
It's yeah, I couldn't answer that. That was
Okay,
something I was wondering too. Like I don't know
Because
why,
there is
but
a lot of talk about running, and I'm waiting for someone. Christina and I do that thing. It was a thing from Family Guy. When the name, oh, he said it. Oh,
yeah,
yeah. There's that too. If they say the title in the movie, then you got,
yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of running, and there's a lot of talking about being scared. But there's nobody says running scared, and they're not really running from anything. They're running after. They're still chasing.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, if you could have called Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid running scared, and it would be more apt than this. You know what I mean? You could swap these titles of movies, and it might make more sense.
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Final thought.
I
That's
think
my
this.
final thought. Should they swap the name? No.
Well, I think that this is generally one of the more underrated movies. I think a lot
Meh.
of people overlook this movie, but for good reason. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I think that the humor is kind of a buffer. Especially for people that maybe are expecting the gritty, hardcore buddy cop movie. Uh, like in terms of like Heat or not even Heat, like Beverly Hills Cop or 48 Hours, or even Lethal Weapon.
Like
You're
Tango
not
and
going to get.
Cash.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, I think that you're going to find that this is going to be a little lighter fare, but I think it's
Yeah.
one of the great buddy cop movies. I rank it up there with, like Toby said at the beginning, it's not necessarily 48 Beverly Hills Cop territory, but for me, it's a little close. It's close. It's just, I think it's the casting that really kind of takes it down a notch.
Great
But
cast.
again, it's not to say that the cast isn't great. It's a great cast. But everybody should see this movie. Everybody should laugh and have a great time while they're watching it. So that's
Yeah,
my
I
final
agree.
thought, I think.
I think the
Yeah.
ratings 6.5, 63%, 58%. I think those are fair numbers. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're, if you want to see Gregory Hines, Billy Crystal, just great banter. I mean, this we saw this a lot more going forward, where you get a lot of like quick wit kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and I think it really that's the shining moment in this movie is really that you're watching it for that at this point. Some laugh out
Yeah.
loud lines back and forth where you're just like, you know what, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's enjoyable and it's free on
Yeah.
your to watch, stream it right now at any time.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Do
it.
it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
Thanks for
another
thanks
episode.
for the flashback. Thank you for choosing this one this
Yeah.
week because
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have gone back to watch it again. And yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I think everybody should watch it. Go watch it. Go check it out and tell us what you think about it. Tell us in the
Yeah.
comments if you want to think about it. Yeah, if you like what you're seeing, man, press that thumbs up because it helps out our channel, helps us get bigger and pushes out to more people. But yeah, next until next week, well, we're gonna have another great movie to talk about. A movie. Stay tuned and thanks for watching. And Toby, thank you for being here, man. Thanks,
Stay
everybody.
cool. Stay cool, brother.
Bye.